Oh man, man, Blood. I thought you was really finna come with it on the debate video. I thought you was finna bring something out. This might be a first round KO right here. I'm like, man, you ain't got no ether for me. You just come with this? Alright. Cause I'm finna just destroy. I don't mess around. When you throw Bernard Hopkins' name out there, you asking for it to be destroyed. I just don't understand when you say the greatest fighter of our era. Like, I'm trying to see, what are you using to base this on? His longevity? Like, okay, like, I don't get it. That he's 50 years old, he's still sticking around the sport. Like, I'm trying to get what... Are you crediting him for what he's done as far as his career? Like, now? If that's what you're trying to do? Because if that's what you're trying to do, then I guess that's like the past four or five fights, like him being old as he is and keeping up with people. That's why you think he's the, legendary or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, let's go into Bernard Hopkins' closet, because this man is a hater. He's a bitter, hateful person. The person who you think you know, Bernard Hopkins, has always been a low-down, dirty scumbag from day one. But now he's the lovable Bernard Hopkins. This is a guy who used to rob women and men before he was caught stealing purses, before he was caught going to jail. And if he didn't have a successful boxing career, would probably be right back doing the same thing all over again. But I commend him for staying out of jail and being an example, saying that you can turn your life around. Let's get that out of the way. Now, he loses his first fight. No problem. He loses to Roy Jones. No problem. Bernard Hopkins is fine. Let's go through his career as he's building up. Okay? He's got 2 losses on his belt already. Bernard Hopkins was a gritty Philly fighter. Chin tucked into his chest. Learned every dirty trick in the book. Low blows, hip shots, headbutts. Anything he could use to get into a victory in a fight. You saw it in the Eccles fight. You saw it in every fight he did. Trinidad. All these fights, all the dirty tactics he used to win fights. But this is the greatest fighter of our era. We're supposed to applaud a fighter who fights dirty to win fights. Okay. So we give all the praise to Bernard Hopkins, a dirty fighter. Now, my thing is, after you lost to Roy Jones, and you knew you had to build yourself back up, what happened to Bernard Hopkins along the way? When he got to the level of, I've done everything here at middleweight. Let's say, okay, he beat Trinidad. Let's go there. He beat Felix Trinidad. He get the victory. What does he do with his career? HBO brings to him a mega fight with Roy Jones. They put the money up. Roy is the champion at 168 pounds. You gotta come up and meet him at a catchweight. Roy is the one gonna meet you at a catchweight to make it better for you. You coming up, he's willing to go down. And you want to fight him for his title. You screw the whole fight up and mess up all the money because you want to get 50-50. Why he never rematched Felix Trinidad? When you was going to make 10 times the amount of money you made the first time around. Because you wanted to make more money than Trinidad. HBO kicked him off the network and he was about to be stripped of his title. Don King helped him keep his belts. Gave him fights and put him on his fight card so he could fight William Joppy on his pay-per-view. When nobody wanted to see Bernard Hopkins fight no more. They was like, he's boring. Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy dug him out the grave. And they made this little fight deal. To where Oscar De La Hoya was going to go to middleweight and fight for the title against Bernard Hopkins. That's the only way he got back on HBO. Before that, he was banned. He couldn't come back because he blew the Roy Jones fight. So this is a guy who wouldn't give you the fights that you wanted to see. Didn't do it. Trinidad came up from welterweight to junior middleweight to middleweight, when he clearly wasn't a middleweight fighter. But it's okay for Bernard Hopkins, who's a full-fledged middleweight, fought his whole career at middleweight, to fight Felix Trinidad, who was coming up. There was no problem for that. Fine, he won. Oscar De La Hoya, same thing. Oscar came from 135 all the way up to fight Bernard Hopkins at 160 pounds. But he's no middleweight. So you see a pattern of Bernard Hopkins. Biggest fights of his career was against the guys that's 2 weight classes down. Bernard Hopkins. And this is all before Floyd Mayweather's success. The man had nothing to say about Floyd Mayweather at none of this time, point, or whatever. Floyd Mayweather comes into prominence, start doing the things he's doing in the sport. What happened? All the hate from Bernard Hopkins come after the fact. He was timing it up with Floyd when he was with Golden Boy. Why wasn't all this stuff coming out when Floyd was there? Why you didn't say he was cherry picking then? Y'all were making the fights. But he's choosing Andre Berto, so that's a cherry pick. But you gonna fight Golovkin, a guy who's 160 pounds, and you fighting at 175. But you want to challenge him to come all the way up to 175 to fight you. And he'll beat you too. I mean, Bernard Hopkins, people root for him because his conditioning. He keeps his body in good shape and he's able to compete at this age because he's a throwback fighter. He's very frugal. He's a throwback, but he's full of shit. He's always been bitter towards other people. He's bitter against Donovan McNabb for no reason. Man, we need a real quarterback. He throwing up in the huddle. So we need he ain't built for this, and all of a sudden he ain't black enough. You know, all this stuff because he was mad Philly gravitated to Donovan McNabb more than him. And he didn't get the praise like Donovan was getting. So he started the conflict with Donovan McNabb to keep his name out there. But he did it disrespectfully and completely wrong. But he's the greatest fighter of our generation. That's what I really can't get. I don't get it. If you put his career next to Floyd's, it's a joke. He stayed and milked a middleweight division that was dead. There was nothing at middleweight when he was there. They had to make a middleweight. They had to develop Jermaine Taylor to fight Bernard Hopkins. A fight he didn't even want to take. But he didn't want to go to 168. When it was really time for him to go up. It was like, look, you can go to 168. He wanted to stay at 160. So the only thing it wasn't no YouTube then. People would have been all on his case like they was. He could have fought, what's his name, Marcus Brea, Mundine, Calzaghe then, or Lacey. James Toney. That's that guy named OK, the guy from the UK, 7. He didn't fight him. He was at 168. Bernard could have fought all those guys. But he was smart. He didn't rematch Roy Jones. Because back then, Roy was still deadly. When did he fight Roy? When Roy was done. Roy just came off a first round knockout. I mean, come on. That fight was a joke. When they made the fight. So Bernard Hopkins is fighting a guy that just came off a first round knockout. Joke. When you could have fought him when it meant something. But you didn't. The Antonio Tarver victory. Tarver was a dead, drained man. That's the only reason he won the fight. That's the only reason he took the fight. He was at the fight when they were filming Rocky. Bernard Hopkins was there for the Jermaine Taylor fight. He was fighting Jermaine Taylor. He didn't even care about the fight. I was right there. They didn't care nothing about the fight, the rematch. Bernard knew he couldn't beat Jermaine Taylor. And this was the rematch. He was just doing it for a check. He was going up he was going up in weight finally. And he was gonna fight Tarver for his first fight. Because they saw Tarver coming in when they filming the Rocky scenes. Tarver's over 200 pounds. He had to put on all the muscle for Rocky. So Bernard wanted to make the fight right away. So he knew he had to cut all that weight. They sitting there strategizing it. We gotta let's get this done. They was doing the contracts right then and there. His fight is the next day. And then the day of, they're filming the scenes with Tarver. Before Bernard and them even come in the ring. They used that audience for the fight. So if you watch the movie Rocky 6 or Rocky Balboa, that's the crowd from Bernard Hopkins' Jermaine Taylor fight. Because I was right there. Saw it all. And then all that kissing up to Floyd. All that, he's the greatest fighter. He's the greatest, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. Then, now you ain't with him no more. He's cherry picking. And I think he's cherry picking his opponents. What you doing? Andre Berto accomplished a lot more than Gennady Golovkin. Gennady ain't did nothing yet. Berto did more at this point than he done. He did the same thing. So, I don't get it. You fought a guy that just came off the canvas. I mean, you going to compare your resume to Floyd's? It don't add up. I don't really see it here. I mean, you want to say he beat Murat and Shumanov, a couple of European guys that they style wouldn't hold up a tomato can against any slick fighter Period. That's why Bernard could beat them at 40 something, 49 and 48. Because they are European boxers. They just machines walking forward. All I'm saying is this. Bernard Hopkins could have gave Tarver a rematch. He could have did it. But he wasn't going to do that. He made Winky Wright come all the way up from 154 pounds and make him go all the way up to what? 165? 168? It's terrible. And then Winky win the fight and still don't get his hand raised. So I just don't even know how we even got here with this conversation with Bernard Hopkins. Like, why would people even care enough to even believe Bernard Hopkins out of anybody is credible of anything? Floyd Mayweather has given back to fighters, to people in general, with charities, donations, everything. Bernard Hopkins, all he's going to give you is talk. What has Bernard Hopkins done for anything in the community? I guarantee, go find something that his name is on, that he did. He put the paperwork out there. Bernard Hopkins went and put something down on. Name a fighter that Bernard Hopkins has helped their entire career and they thanking Bernard Hopkins for anything. Your own nephew, Dimitri Hopkins, you robbed him when you didn't even support. This is your sister's son. You didn't even support his boxing career. He did it on his own. And once he got hot, then you start saying, oh yeah, this is my nephew, this is my nephew. And you start taking all this percentage out of his money before he even made some money. Kid ain't made no money yet. And you got him signed to this crazy deal to where he got to pay you when you ain't doing nothing but making appearances and holding his hand. Like, yeah, this is my nephew, Dimitri Hopkins. Yeah, we got another one in the family. Like, you've been there training him. You had nothing to do with his career. But he played the role, so thinking it's going to help his career, and you didn't do nothing for him. All you did was stealing money from him. And that's your own family. That's why your sister wouldn't talk to you. And that's why Demetrius don't talk to you. Because you grimy. You a cheap, grimy, frugal bum. Don't nobody like you. I don't understand how these people here even deal with it. He's phony. All he gonna give you is talk. That's all Bernard Hopkins does is talk. Everything about Bernard Hopkins is a fake. Early in his career, he had some good bouts, but I watch boxing. I follow it. I know what it is. I know why he stayed away from Roy. I know why he stayed away from James Toney. I know why he did it. Look what he did to his own trainer. Look what he did to his trainer. I ain't even got to go no further than that. And brought in Nazim because he was cheaper. He was making more money. He knew he couldn't pull that with his trainer, so he had to go get Nazim, who was already with him. Just like I could just pay Nazim anything, and he's gonna be grateful. So I'ma just keep Nazim. He's cheaper. Then you went and got John David Jackson when Nazim was hospitalized, and he had you looking like a champion, having you looking sharp against Kelly Pavlik and against what's his name, Tarver. And what did you do? You wanted to go back to John for your rematch with Pascal. And what did you do? What did you do for your rematch? You said you went with Nazeem because Nazeem was cheaper. He was asking for too much. And he felt like it ain't too much money if I'm giving you a benefit. But Bernard cared more about the money. And the Kelly Pavlik win, your big victory, of one that I was very happy that he pulled off the upset, and I was shocked. I was one of the people that think he couldn't do it. Then it's marred by the fact that I get a message that you and Shane Mosley took some special supplement at the time. Because it's funny. Shane knocks out Margarito. He's never looked like that again. Bernard Hopkins dominates Kelly Pavlik. Never looked like that again. And the guy was going from gym to gym trying to get people to try that supplement he got. And you and Shane were part of the people that used the supplement. Allegedly. But ain't it fishy? Bernard Hopkins threw so many punches in that fight. He never looked like that again, though. The Kelly Pavlik night, he was insane. Shane Mosley looked like he was 20 years younger when he fought Margarito. Never looked like that again. What happened? I know what happened, but I'll save it. And I didn't want to just throw everything out, but hey, what the hell? This is going to be a one-hit knockout the park, because your video felt like more you was talking about Dante's Nation more than... I'm like, well, what is he talking about? A great like Bernard Hopkins, the only thing this dude did was buy a statue, put down some money. And this is what kills me, that the movement was already into getting Frazier a statue, when it should have been done a long time ago, but they waited till he died to get the statue going. But Bernard gonna get involved in it while the movement was already going on, so it'll have a bigger impact if he has Bernard Hopkins' name on it, because he was boxing and he's from Philly. But he's the same one that called Philly a racist town. And talk about Philly because they don't want to give him anything. He wants a statue. He wants a plaque. He wants something done for him. But since they won't do it for him, it's a racist town. But it was a racist town already when they wouldn't do it for Frazier. Why wouldn't you do it for Joe Frazier? That should have been done. Shouldn't have to wait till him passing away to get that. And then what do? You call out Floyd Mayweather for a fight. You run from Kovalev because they had to force you to fight Kovalev. You was going to fight Stevenson. But Kathy Duva put a lawsuit on Al Heyman so to block your fight with Stevenson. You already had a signed contract to fight Stevenson. Because Al Heyman was helping you, advising your career, and he was building you towards a fight with Stevenson that was going to net you a lot of money. Then Kathy Duva found a junction to stop that fight from happening. And Bernard Hopkins didn't have no choice. And in order for him to get on HBO, he couldn't fight a duck. So he knew he had to fight. He had to get a fight because he was going to fight Kovalev. So they had to put him in an easy touch match so that he can go ahead and fight Kovalev. So it's a lot of stuff y'all didn't know. He didn't want to fight Kovalev at all. And he was like, oh, I was finna fight Kovalev. Kovalev turned it down when I wanted to fight him before. No. That ain't what happened, buddy. Kovalev they already had something scheduled. They was already working. Then you just opened your mouth. It was like, I'll fight Kovalev. You didn't never come forward to try to make a fight. It was all BS. You was never going to come to the table to make that fight happen. But you wanted to give the appearance that you wanted to make the fight happen. I follow the game. This stuff ain't going to get past me. This stuff will get past the media and somebody else. And Blood, you should know better. You should know better than to bring this guy to the table. Bernard Hopkins. If we cut everything out and just go boxing and fighters, he can't hold a torch to Floyd Mayweather's career. And I'm sorry, you don't like the opponents Floyd is fighting. But Floyd is either fighting a champion or a #1 contender in the box. He's fighting Andre Berto. Somebody who's accomplished more than any other welterweight that you gonna name. He accomplished way more than Keith Thurman. He's accomplished way more than a lot of these other fighters. Thurman, who's still green, but he's supposed to get the Floyd fight. He's entitled to fight Floyd. It's insanity. Insanity. Then Bernard brings up, why don't he unify the titles with Kell Brook? I would have loved to have seen that fight. But who are we to dictate to Floyd who he should fight or what he should do at this point? He controls his own destiny. He gave you the fights you wanted to see. And every time he does, they find a new way or a new opponent. He's ducking. He's doing this. He just beat the boy y'all said he was scared of. Now that the fight didn't go the way y'all thought and went the way it was going to go from day one, now it's, he's ducking Keith Thurman. Are you kidding me? He's ducking Gennady Golovkin. Might as well say he's ducking Ronda Rousey. That's what y'all need to say. Just say it. He's ducking Ronda Rousey. There you go. Ask Floyd to fight a girl. And ESPN, they stupid too for putting that up there. That's the worst marketing I've ever seen. Here you is talking about this guy. Oh, he beats this woman. He beats women. But you putting him up there comparing him to fight a woman. It's ridiculous. So disgraceful and disrespectful. I think he's went through the most abuse of any other fighter in the game. Floyd has. I don't think Ali was abused this much. But anyway, you could try to rebut all this stuff I just said or rebuttal it and knock yourself out. This video is the one-hitter quitter because Bernard Hopkins is put a nail in this. He ain't getting up.